Welcome, friends, to our reaction to Season 2, Episode 9, the season finale of X-Men 97.
Hello.
This season has been very much about apocalypse, hasn't it, Tommy Bear?
That's right, baby. I told you he was coming.
And I just want to say, in case it wasn't obvious, spoiler alert. We are about to spoil all of Season 2.
Uh-oh, spoiler alert.
So, Tommy Bear, what did you think about Season 2?
Baby, there weren't a whole lot of episodes in season 2. But to quote Gambit, quality over quantity, mon ami. The music was once again on point. The action was on point. The drama on point. The dialogue on point. Voice acting on point. And all the threads that have been carefully woven together from the earlier episodes, like the attempt to redeem and turn Apocalypse to good, the conflict between X-Force and X-Factor, and the resurrection of Gambit as a horseman, all came together like a nicely knitted scarf or ascot that Bishop might wear around his neck. Bishop is one of my favorite characters, by the way.
Yes, and like Bishop's time-jumping scarf, or ascot, or whatever it is, there's a lot of traveling between timelines here and there. But the final episode, the season finale, has a major players back in the 90s.
That's right, baby. After making his transformation from inside Manure, Apocalypse says he's going to strike the X-Men in the 90s when they're most vulnerable. That was a really cool and interesting transformation, by the way. It was like Inside Manure already had access to his memories from the future as Apocalypse. With some freaky time stuff in there now.
The title of the final episode is Survival of the Fittest, or the final episode in this season. Do you think this is a fitting title, Tommy Bear, speaking of fit?
I do. This philosophy, of course made popular on Earth by Charles Darwin and Herbert Spence, finds its voice in Inside Manure's people and the Celestials who endow Apocalypse with his extra powers. His celestial powers. And then, of course, Apocalypse himself. Survival of the fittest is a belief that is evaluated as it trickles through every episode, even the ones that aren't really about Apocalypse a whole lot, like the episode that has Wolverine going back to the Weapon X facility, to get his adamantium on his bones again. It works for the final episode of the season, and just about every character, especially Charles Xavier himself, has something to say about this philosophy by the end.
Yeah, and one of my favorite moments of the season finale is when Charles Xavier, the founder of the X-Men, maybe you heard of him, says to Apocalypse, who has fully possessed Gambit's body by that point, says that the ones we care for are how we survive, and how we have always survived.
Yeah, that was a really nice line of dialogue.
And Rogue, one of my favorite characters, plays a fantastic part in the season finale, literally getting a glow up as she's endowed with extra celestial powers.
That was an inspiring moment, all right. I got goosebumps.
But I wish that Rogue had more to do with those additional celestial powers. I wish she got to do more. She flies in to
Right.
save everyone, especially Gambit, and takes Apocalypse out of Gambit, but she doesn't really get to use those powers for combat or anything.
Bearby, it's not always about fighting in superhero comic books and other media. Okay? Rogue's glow up communicates some deeper meaning.
Fair enough. But what do you think about the conflict between X-Factor and X-Force coming to a head, and them joining forces against the X-Men in the season finale? I'm Team X-Factor, by the way.
I'm Team X-Force. Bearby, the conflict between X-Factor and X-Force goes back to the pages of the comic books.
Yes, of course, as many things do. Yeah, I do remember in Executioner's Song, for example, X-Factor and X-Force fighting each other. I think they were fighting over Cable then? X-Factor wanted to capture or possibly kill Cable because they thought he had shot Charles Xavier.
Yeah, that was Executioner's Song.
Right. But that storyline was about Strife, though, not Apocalypse. Correct?
That's right. And it's really interesting to me how this time the scenario is basically flipped, with Cable being the one who wants to kill Gambit because Apocalypse, who has possessed his body and is threatening to break out of the mental cage Xavier put him in, all right, is such a threat.
Yeah, and I like how X Force, X Factor, and the X Men themselves are all kind of thrown in the mix in the final episode of the season, with us, the viewer, not knowing which way the cookie is going to crumble.
Now you got me thinking about cookies again. Well, here's a cookie for you, Bearby. What do you think is going to become of Nightcrawler? You think he's gone for good?
Ah, Nightcrawler. He's one of my favorites, and many other people's favorite as well. Fortunately or unfortunately, I think it's going to be another Gambit situation. There's no way he's
Right.
staying dead. Nightcrawler fans would cry out.
I hear
We'd
you.
riot. Nightcrawler will teleport back, so to speak. I kind of don't like this, even though I want Nightcrawler to come back alive, to life.
Yeah.
This is an issue with comics as well, where characters die and are resurrected constantly. Take Charles Xavier, for example. Professor X has probably been stabbed, shot, and burned to death by Phoenix and other forces like a million times. But they keep on resurrecting him. In fact, I think Jonathan Hickman's recent Krakoa stories may have been memeing on this a little, with how they were able to just resurrect characters left and right on the spot. Like, yeah, we know we're going to resurrect a character if they're popular enough. No one will stay dead. So Nightcrawler is going to come back. It may take an entire season or two, but he will teleport back into the story as surely as he's teleported into our hearts.
Yeah, and I think it's important, really important, that we didn't get to see all of what exactly happened between Nightcrawler and Isan, that Celestial, when Nightcrawler made a sacrifice to save Rogue's life after she made her sacrifices.
Yes, lots of sacrifices were made. It's going to be fun to see how it all plays out next season. So, Tommy Bear, predictions for season 3? What do you think?
Onslaught is coming, bro.
I think so too. I think Mystique's transformation into Valerie Cooper and Cooper and Creed's occupation of seats of power and the mid-credit scene suggest, to me, some kind of Sentinel storyline for season 3, but they kind of already did that in season 1. I think that will play in, those elements will play in, but there's something of a red herring. Because a lot of people had been predicting that Onslaught would be the next big bad, and the creators of the show don't want to be too obvious. But there's been too many little hints that Onslaught is coming.
That's right, baby. In the comic books, Onslaught started to form practically right after Magneto pulled the adamantium from Wolverine's body, and Xavier was forced to shut down Magneto's mind. Not all that happened in the X-Men 97 series now. Magneto's mind wasn't shut down, but instead he was murdered by Apocalypse.
Yeah, that jerk. Magneto's probably coming back too, though. Just saying.
In the comic books, Onslaught was formed from the darker parts of Magneto's and Xavier's minds. I think they're bringing him in, but it's going to be a little different from the comics. You'll surprise us a little now.
I think so too. I also think Onslaught is coming in season 3, which is why, and Tommy Bear and I discussed this beforehand, for some of our future videos, we're going to do a deep dive on the comics surrounding this Onslaught character, perhaps beginning with Road to Onslaught. So if you want to know more about Onslaught before X-Men 97 Season 3, or if you're a comic book guru and want to come by and chime in and possibly correct any errors we make, stay tuned. Because Onslaught is coming to X-Men 97. We're pretty confident about that. And if not, we will write this all down on paper and literally eat our own words.
Wait, I didn't agree to all that. Ink could be toxic.
We'll eat our own words, but before then, on the comic book side of our channel, we're going to be putting together multiple videos exploring the backstory of Onslaught, how he came to be, and what exactly went down when he entered Marvel Comics. We're going to be doing a comic book deep dive on Onslaught ahead of X-Men 97 Season 3, okay?
Oh yeah, Onslaught and Onslaught comic book videos on this channel are coming. Juggernaut's gonna get one-shotted by Onslaught.